Georgia. Georgia, here we go. Good girl. Good girl. Georgia, sit. Here we go. Good girl. Hey, we're back with Georgia and Jerry. We're backyard sugaring today. Just showing off my grand dog and the new trick. We're probably 3 weeks out from our last video, and we've harvested all of our sap. Today it's probably 36, 37 degrees. We're mid-March, and segment 2 we're going to start cooking. First thing you need from a cooking supply is ample wood. This wood has been aged a year. I'm going to say to cook the 100 gallons I'm cooking today, you're going to need about, probably a full, well, probably a half a quart of wood we'll go through today. As you can see here, we have our bottles that we set up. The hoses are now disconnected. I collected the sap in these 17-gallon areas, and as you can see here, George is checking out the wood pile. We also have some sap here, and I got a couple of more up in the garage. So collectively we'll cook about 100 gallons. Our ratio is about 50 gallons to 1 gallon of maple syrup when we're done. So we have an all-day cooking operation going on here. We have some visitors coming over around the noon hour. We're going to be cooking hot dogs in the maple syrup while it's boiling, which is real good. And some kids are coming over, and maybe we'll roast some marshmallows too. All right, so the cooking operation, if we'll come over here, made a visit to the local home supply store and picked up 30 of these cinder blocks. Very easy fire. I got it off the ground from a fire safety standpoint. Again, the wood I'm using has been aged about a year. Don't try, doing this with newly cut wood. It just doesn't work out very well because the wood just tough time getting it started. I have 2 cast iron type of pans here that my sap is now cooking in. I have it vented out the back with just some piping from HVAC type operation. It's all portable. All of this can be taken apart when you're not cooking. I'll probably leave it up this season because next season I think I'm going to extend it out to a 3-pan cook to make things go a little quicker. What are you chewing on here, Georgia? Georgia found herself a stick. Okay, all right, so the key to cooking, we have a couple of things here. We have a pan, which is my transfer pan, and then we have this ladle, which is a strainer. You'll see if you get up close here, there's a nice little foam on the top. I like to take that foam and just kind of take it up and remove it. Why? Well, it gives me something to do while it's cooking. Also, an old timer told me that it was good, and as you can see, we get some impurities out there. You'll see the back pan is cooking at a higher temperature. Well, I should say it's cooking hotter, not a higher temperature necessarily, than the front pan. Both are to a boil. As you know from your old chemistry class, water doesn't boil at 211 degrees, but 212 it does. So we're well above 212 degrees here. We get a little impurities out of the top, and then we get this boil. So to boil down 100 gallons, it's about 8 hours. So you got to plan accordingly. What I'll do is, you can see this pan is cooking down, is I'll come over here because I don't want to lose my boils, and I'll put some syrup. I should say it's not syrup yet. It's sap in here. And if you just get a close-up, you'll see this one here, since it's not cooking quite as hot, is a little, I'm just going to say, yellowed. And over here, we're almost caramelized already, and we just started cooking. So in another few hours, this pan here, which will be about 2 gallons of maple syrup, will be totally brown. And I'll show you later what that'll look like. I actually cook it down on the inside of the house because the operation has a little bit more filtering to it, where we're getting out a lot of impurities, and you got to boil the jars, so it's just difficult to do outside the house. So now I'll add a little more sap to the front pan and hopefully not lose the boil. And again, this process is going to go on until all of these buckets are empty. And like I said, I got more prepared and the way to go. And as far as the fire goes, again, I got my little poker here, keep things moving around. because it burns down real quick. You can get the fire a little too hot. Of course, wear gloves. A little too hot where everything boils over. So I just kind of add 1 or 2 at a time and make sure my fire's going, but not going too hard. If the fire tends to go out, I got a little blower over here. I'll just add a little bit more air to it and get it going. But right now it looks like my boil, see, I lost my boil on the front pan, which I don't like to do. So we got to kind of work on that and bring that back to a boil. Probably add a little bit too much there. All right, so one of the things I can't do, I don't have a smell camera, but if you're standing around the fire here, you can actually smell the maple syrup, the maple flavor, if you will, coming out, which is quite exciting. For me, it's a day out in the woods, kind of, you know, pre-spring, nothing's turning green yet, and it's just a good opportunity to get out amongst nature and do some things. Also, if you look around here, clearing the forest with all the different trees that took down to create the wood pile. Maple sugaring, backyard maple sugaring is also a great way to clear your forest. So again, I'm Jerry. This is my grand dog Georgia, and we'll be back when we're inside the house doing a little more cooking on the stove, and we'll actually put some maple syrup into the jars and show you the finished product.